Hello, my name is Chari Konomi.
My name is Jeff Stone, and welcome to the first episode, but the second attempt at our Goldey-Beacom podcast that's currently unnamed. The favorite right now, which when we attempted to record the first episode, but I screwed up because of technical difficulties. We need help. We need some people to come help us out with the podcast because we can't do it and be in it. But basically, the favorite for the name right now is ChatGBC, and then we also have a couple others. Some people shouted out that weren't on the social media poll, like lightning strikes with like whoever the guest is. Mm-hmm. Let's Talk Lightning.
Let's Talk Lightning.
Golden Bolt podcast.
Golden Bolt. That's not bad.
Yeah, you haven't heard that one yet. Yeah. That was Derek.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Beacom and Beacon.
Beacon and Beacon.
Beacom, Beacon, and Bacon.
And Bacon.
All the names that people try to call
Goldey.
Beacon, Bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Becoming Bacon.
Becoming Bacon.
I like that.
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, Become Bacon.
Footloose?
Yeah. What did you say?
Footloose? Kevin Bacon, he was in Footloose.
Oh, Kevin. Right? That's Kevin Bacon?
But Bacon.
Right. But, yeah, that's good. That's getting into the film talk right away.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we thought, it'd be a good idea to start a podcast to just talk about what's happening at GBC, have on some guests, talk about their, story, their history, how they got to GBC, some interesting things. And just have a good time and dig deep into some Goldey-Beacom stuff and some history, as well as the things that we got going on. So we'll start off with Chari's going to give a rundown on what's happening this week at GBC.
So what's happening this week? Moving day is on Sunday, the 14th. The 14th. But school will be closed the following day on Monday the 15th. However, there is the MLK service, day of service. Sulakshmi Vaid is spearheading that event. We're going to be meeting at 9 a.m. at the Jones Center for a shuttle to take us to the place where it is. And we'll be partnering up with My Brother's Keeper, West End Grows, Sunday Breakfast Mission, and more community partners to do the MLK service, day of service, which last year we did it as well, where a lot of the athletes and local kids were able to come out, where we go around cleaning up the streets, and then we also do like a march all together. Last year, I think the theme was to stop gun violence in Wilmington, but also in general in the country. And then we have a news from the men's soccer team, Eduardo Coimbra signing up with a professional team. Big shout out to Eddie. The softball team and baseball have their opening days in February 10th for softball, February 16th for baseball, and our men's and women's basketball teams are going strong in their CACC run at the moment, and also some out-of-conference games. So, looking forward to that, making sure that our teams do well and support them. And
we should mention also, there's a free drone workshop on campus this Saturday. So if you have a drone, come to campus. I believe you can find it on our social medias, Facebook page, and things, and you can sign up there. But I may have this wrong. Do you know more details about Monday, the MLK Day of Service? Are we partnering with Professor Melvina's wellness center? Or
I'm not sure. I can find out.
Yeah,
we'll
give an update on that because I thought I saw something on our Facebook. But we don't need to find out now. But I know that she gets a lot of students involved there, things like that. And then to go further on the news about Eddie. So tell me more.
So Eddie has come off a great year of the fall last semester where we made playoffs. He was the best player on the team, and in my opinion, the best player in the conference.
I thought you were about to say the history of the college. I was about to get controversial there. We might have some people who would refute that. He's great.
He's great. No, we've had some great players.
We should just start the conversation.
Maybe. But he has come off a really good year. Definitely, both on and off the field, and he was captain as well. So he was leading the team, and they respect him a lot. So he made I think it was second team all conference or first team all conference, but he definitely did make first team all region because of how he played. and he's been really good. And he signed now a pro contract. I think it's somewhere in the Canary Islands, if I'm not mistaken. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago before the break. He's very excited, and I'm sure his family is very happy for him. And all of the GBC family, of course, past alumni and obviously the current team are super happy for him. So it's a big moment for the team, for him, and for the future of this program.
Yeah, I think it really honors the program, the history, and the run that they've had. And I wonder, I think we talked before too, I wonder if he's the first to sign. I think there's a couple other people maybe. I don't know the specifics, but
I know Levi Maruka was with
my roommate. My old
roommate. Your old roommate. And it was my old roommate.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it was us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It was us. I took a penalty once in practice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Was it the 1 year?
during the championship run? Yeah.
Oh.
But back when I was going to school, I wore moccasins.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I thought it was a good idea. I was out there filming them, so I guess I thought it was a good idea to take those off.
Yeah.
And I think Pablo was in goal. And I ran up. There's a video somewhere. I think I had to remove that from my social media at one point. But I ran up, to protect my reputation. But I ran up to kick it, and I just I think I might have towed the
ball or the ground.
I don't know, but the ball just rolled right to Pablo. Everybody was watching too. Or maybe
it's in the documentary, is it not?
It might be. It might be in one of the vlogs that accompanied it. Yeah, but very embarrassing. Yeah, but see me in FIFA though.
Career mode.
Been playing that since 2007. Come at me. But yeah, so I guess let's get into kind of your backstory this episode, and we can talk about mine as well. But really, everyone wants to know about Chari Konomi. So
no.
But yeah, so how did you get to Goldey-Beacom?
It was back in 2017, 2018, where I had some friends on the team that I was playing in Sweden that had come to America, to Georgia Southern in Florida, and the other boy, he went to Charleston University in West Virginia, I think. So I looked into how I could do the same, and there was a little back and forth of maybe I should go to a university in Sweden, maybe I should stop playing altogether, but I wanted to continue and I wanted to come here, and talking to my father, there was that the song that I would, there was this song when I was a kid, we would sing together. The song translated to English is the lyrics are in my youth I would travel Greece, Europe, America. So after we had moved to Sweden, it was I felt that it was time to now it's time to go to America. So I was looking a couple colleges, and I had already all but signed on to go to another school in upstate New York, in Buffalo. And unfortunately, for that situation, Goldey reached out maybe a week after I had or actually the day after I had said that I decided I'm set to go here, and I scrolled down on the email I got from Coach Ryan Dixon, and there was the link to the documentary that you made, and I watched the documentary, and immediately from that moment I said, I think this is the place I really want to go, because what the documentary did for me was it kind of showed me it gave me a picture of what it would be like for me to be here. And the fears that I had going into moving from Sweden to America, am I going to be lonely there? Am I going to find friends? Am I going to be able to kind of blend into this new place that I have no idea what it's going to be like? So the documentary accomplished the thing of showing me what it was going to be like in terms of the layout and the different facilities and different areas, but also who was going to be here, what kind of people I was going to meet. And that kind of made me feel safe and secure, and took care of those uncertainties that I definitely had going into this, because you're kind of going in a little bit blind, because most colleges don't have that much out there they don't have this kind of at least not a documentary, any of the schools that I spoke to at least.
Yeah, the raw footage of what it was like to be a student at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, more on that in a second, but the poster is right there, and as you can tell, it's the same word as the Ted Lasso show.
Yes.
And look, you can see how faded it is. Mm-hmm. That was printed before Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
You know what? Like Ted Lasso. Yeah, they were in the writers' room in 2017, probably.
You know? Yeah, they probably were because
the show's called Ted Lasso. It's not called Believe. So Believe was after that, but it's the same word, same color, everything. You know, you guys decide. You let us know. I think they ripped it off. I mean, I'm just saying.
Definitely did.
You know, I like the show a lot, but ours was real. You know? Ours was real. But yeah, so tell me about like the experience of coming all the way over here for the first time, like saying, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna move across the world, leave my family, and go pursue this opportunity. Yeah,
it was very much like uncertain, I think, until the final moment when I booked my flight to come to Philadelphia, and when I arrived in Philly, it was, you know, I didn't want to leave my parents, but it was kind of, you know. I don't know. My dad was very much like, you know, you got to get out. You gotta go. I guess he was still thinking about the song, you know, like you got to complete the lyrics now. So I came over. I landed. I felt so tired. I got my bag. Coach Dixon was waiting for me at the airport, and this huge American flag, because he texted me, I'm by the American flag. And I'm like, how am I going to notice the flag? You know, because I thought of a normal size flag, but I didn't know that it was going to be 20 feet tall and right in the middle of the arrival section. So yeah, he drove me back to campus with his huge American truck, pickup truck, sorry. And I was like intimidated straight away by the American, you know, style, I suppose. And he drove me back to campus, and I was greeted by Goldey-Beacom legends, Shaheen Agrin, Arthur. I cannot say Arthur's last name. And
Svinchuk.
Svinchuk.
I butchered it. I bet he's gonna be like,
he's gonna be pissed. And Suhail Bismillah. And yeah, it was good because I think those three guys, for me at least, it was good to kind of meet them, and they were also our captains at the time. So it was good to kind of meet them, and they were very, you know, welcoming, and they said, whatever you need, let us know. Because at the time I didn't have a pillow or a blanket or anything really. So the first day I kind of took a jacket that I had, I folded it together, put it as a pillow. But then they were, you know, then I was able to get some stuff at the Kmart, actually across the street that used to be here.
Yeah. Now it's an Edge Fitness.
And now it's an Edge Fitness.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It does.
That's crazy.
It does.
But yeah, it's so funny that you bring up the song that your dad was talking about. Sorry, we have to check. I have to check to see if when I'm talking, if it's showing up on our recorder, because the last time I screwed that up. So if anyone wants to come help us out with the podcast and monitor the audio and help, because there's no one behind the cameras right now. But yeah, we need some help. But yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned that that anxiety levels are high. I'm sorry. That you mentioned the song that your dad was talking about, the Greece, Europe, America, because you know, I married a Serbian who went to Goldey, you know, the international student family, and her name is Senja Markovic. And whenever we'd go over to Serbia and visit, you know, her dad has a restaurant, and they have, you know, you've seen it, the band, of course, you know,
it was so good.
They're called the Tamburashi. They're like the you know, Mexican mariachi band. And so you would like order a song, and he'd order one called America, and it's the complete opposite, which is like America is huge, but it's not as big as my backyard. And so it's very interesting the difference. But I'm always you know, interested in that, because I think it's such a big thing to leave kind of an area, like let alone a city or a state, you know, that you grew up in, or your neighborhood, but your country, and to go across the world. And I know we have a lot of people, you know, at Goldey and with stories like that, and those are always, you know, so interesting. But yeah, so from there, so you got to Goldey, and then kind of what next? Like, what have you got going on now?
Now, this semester, we're finishing up the third and last, and I'll never do another one, I promise, a Polaroid project. So I'm going around, taking pictures, getting people to sign them.
Yeah, he's got 200 Polaroids next to him on the desk there. With the other 400,
with the
800 in the Jones lobby
9 probably
that make up the GBC and the family.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that this semester. I'm helping out with social media, taking pictures and at events, school events and stuff like that. People have probably seen me. I don't know. Or thought I was annoying.
If Chari hasn't taken your Polaroid yet,
yeah,
you don't go here. you know, like
or message the podcast and tell us why hasn't he taken our picture.
Oh, he'll find you if you have.
I'll definitely do it.
But yeah, so you were talking about one that you got that you were trying to make a conscious point to try to get more people who don't live on campus, because Goldey does have a really strong culture of students who live on campus, but we have a lot of commuters as well who don't really experience the same things, but and it's a challenge to get them involved with things, but
what I found with that, because I made I was like, okay, where will I find commuters? So when I didn't have class, I would go to the second and the third floor to see other classes, and if I knew the professor, I'd be like, okay, maybe I can sneak in there and take a Polaroid or two of people that I don't see on campus. And what I noticed, some of them definitely kind of felt that they weren't able to experience the Goldey events and the life on campus, but this would be a way for them to kind of be part of it, be involved, so I was happy that people were positive to it and had that kind of mindset about it. So I'm gonna keep doing that and go to I hope professors don't hate me.
No way.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep doing that and get more commuters and more just more people, because we have also a lot of older students that come to especially for night classes,
the graduate program,
so I'll try to get more there as well, if they if they're okay with that.
No, with you, they definitely are. I think that's one of the things that stands out so much when you walk through Jones and you see both the GBC and the family. It's not just the photos, the Polaroids, which are so nostalgic and beautiful, but you can see like your personality reflected in theirs for sure. So, and that's where me and you blend well together, because I like to just hide. And, you don't know if I've taken your photo, you might not know about it. But you get right in there, and that's a perfect combination. But yeah, so tell me a little bit more about how you got into like the photography things and stuff like that.
I think actually it was, so my freshman year we had the lightning bash that you and Senya put together, and I remember,
and a bunch of other people.
Lotte, Elijah,
DeAndre, and the whole David O. Lawrence Council.
So I remember in that one, there was not a lot of light in the old atrium. It was not like a lot of light. It was like a little you know what I mean? It was very, very nice atmosphere. So when we went inside, there was these Polaroids. There was this place where you could take Polaroids and then you put them up on a little wall, and they would hang on these small Christmas lights almost. And I think from that moment when I went home for break and then I came back in 2019, I remember asking you if I could, take the Polaroid. I mean, I don't really remember, it's so long ago, but I had this idea of what if we do like a big collage of pictures, and then maybe they can look like something, like the whole shape can look like something, and that's where we wanted to do a lightning bolt, but that proved problematic. So we did, you suggested to do like block letters in GBC.
Yeah, because we tried to do a lightning bolt. So years ago, people have probably seen the drone shot of where people line out and make GBC. That was I got to give Chuck his props. That was Chuck's idea. I took the photo, but that was Chuck's idea. And then the next year we tried to do a lightning bolt, and he let us map it out while like students were doing like the welcome weekend stuff. And I guess we totally messed that up because it ended up looking like New Jersey. We have the photo. That's what people are like, this looks like New Jersey. And so the lightning bolt is a bit of a challenge, but the GBC and the family, those. Well, so what's the third one gonna be?
The third one, well, my idea is actually to finally try to make an actual lightning bolt, but choose a design that kind of is that fits with how the Polaroids look, and to make it like that, and then maybe also use a little bit of color, blue and yellow, and maybe some white there on a black background to have them kind of look like lightning there. And my hope is that we will be successful. We will see.
No, you definitely got it. But I remember when you were graduating last year, you were telling me when you were hanging up the family on the wall, you were telling me like the one big thing you wanted was that they will just keep it up until your family came over to see it. Yes. And so yeah, tell me about that. Like when you graduated and your family came all the way over from Sweden to kind of see, to like experience and like what was that like, you know, to have them meet the people that you know and see, you know, all the work you've done and yeah.
I mean, it was surreal in a sense. When my parents came and my sister came as well, they made the very long trip. I met them in New York first. I went to get them from New York, and then we stayed there for a day or two and then came back. But when they arrived on campus, I took my mom and my dad to kind of meet different people, to kind of show them the campus really, but obviously people were here. So we met one of the security guards, Tony, and he, you know, I didn't expect him to like say some things to my father, like good things about me, and I was very like taken aback, like, you know, but Tony's such a great guy. So, and my dad started to get a little bit emotional, and then we went to, we saw Perry, we saw Colleen, we saw Joel, and, you know, and Hannah and Amanda, both my advisors throughout my time, you know, and other people here, like faculty, staff, and like my coach, and, you know, other people here. So it was very, you know, I guess for me it was unexpected, I think, that they would, you know, say these nice things to my father, and he got very emotional, and so did my mom, you know. So I think for them it was a really nice moment, and for me also for sure. But I didn't expect it, and it was beautiful to kind of, I don't know, I haven't seen my father cry too many times in my life, but this was one that like he was happy, you know. It wasn't tears of sadness. It was like, I guess he was proud of me, and yeah, you know, and then to see them. So that week was Cap and Cork, and we went to Cork, and Colleen and Joel and Chuck were behind the bar serving drinks. That's hilarious, by the way. I think it's the second or third time in a row that they've done it for graduation. But my parents were with me at Cork and Barrel. With my sister, we were singing, dancing, drinking. It was like so never expected when I came here that would ever happen, or that would ever be a possibility. Yeah. So it was. Yeah, it was great, and was top kind of put the, how you Americans say, the cherry on top of the thing.
Icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake. There we go. Icing
cherry on top.
Cherry on, both work.
What are some other ones?
Cherry on top, icing on the cake.
Slamming of the door.
I didn't know that one.
That's not what I just made that one up.
The crown on the head. No.
Is that like a? Is that?
I don't know, but I mean,
that's a good one. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, that's such an interesting thing such a good thing about the small college like Goldey is that you can literally have your president serving you drinks behind the bar. This was like celebrating before graduation too. So
and you had to be 21 and over.
Of course.
You can't get it. But I wanted to say the icing on the cake was seeing a picture that my sister took of my parents, because I had work or I had class or something. And they were.
We were making you work while your family was here. I mean, you just do a lot, so you were just I guess so. I gotta go take some polaroids, you know.
No, but so the picture. So I was going through my dad's phone, and I saw the picture in his phone of that my sister took of him and my mom sitting next to the big family thing with. And for me, like I kind of had to take a moment, and this was when I was at home a couple of weeks ago, seeing this picture because I hadn't seen it since graduation. And I made a point of like having like my name Chari Konomi and Lighting Studio written there, which my girlfriend actually, shout out to you darling, wrote on the thing, and just having my last name there is more important, you know, and that my parents were able to see it. It was I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, that's really special. And yeah, that was like one of the questions I wanted to kind of ask you was like, what is one of your favorite experiences? That's got to be like the number one. But like, what are some other favorite experiences that you have, you know, both in or outside of the classroom? We can get to the inside the classroom a bit later. I don't know where those would rank, but
definitely a lot of great moments with the soccer team. I do remember, I think it was preseason, and 2018 preseason, super hot, 90 to in American degrees, 90 to 120, and it was
What?
90 degrees to 120 degrees. It was like super hot that summer.
I don't know if it would have gotten to 120.
It was definitely 90 because I remember being like, it was so warm, bro. You could not escape it. It was like the wind was warm. It would be windy and it would be warm.
But
warm
120 is like up there.
I don't know, but it was definitely 90.
The Fahrenheit moves a
Yeah.
little bit
Different.
less than
Less.
the Celsius.
Maybe.
Because like the Celsius, you guys have less numbers, so
Yeah.
it jumps a little bit higher. But
Maybe,
120 is like,
I don't know. It felt like that. Maybe it wasn't like
I have
that.
to
but-
fact check you on
Yeah,
that.
definitely
All right,
check
all right,
that.
keep going.
So there was no cafeteria. There was no dining hall. So we had to cook in our dorms. We had to know how to cook and then cook. And so I didn't know, and we had no groceries either in our dorm. And me, Eddie, Elijah, Josiah, and little Ali were like starving practically. Didn't really know how to really get food. We would try, but so I went to one of the captains on the team, Shaheen, a legend at Goldey, by the way, and said like I have not eaten any food, and we had 2-a-days, like 2 practices a day, and I was very much tired. So I told him that I was really hungry and there was no food, and where could I get some food? And he said he just gave me his food, and I was like, what is this food? And he's like, no, it's really good. Like, take it and eat. And I was like, but this is yours. And he said, no, don't worry about it. Take it, and it's fine. And so I felt that I was in a safe place here at Goldey. And then my roommate Alejandro Sanchez, also a big shout out, told me years later that Shaheen, that food, that thing that he had, the container, was from a restaurant that he really liked to go to get food. I think it was food from, like, traditional food from where he's from.
Yeah.
And he just gave it to me, and that was a testament to who he is as a person, but also to the community that the soccer team was able to build on campus, and to kind of help that become the culture of our campus. So that's definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
When it comes to.
And it's really interesting you tell that story, because when we did the documentary on Arthur, Shaheen, and Manuela, when they were starting, the app, Upendo, and they were doing Smart Students, the purpose behind their app was the same thing, the family culture that you'd feel at Goldey-Beacom. And the story that it's in there, the story that Arthur would tell, is that when he showed up first to Goldey, with nothing, like no blanket, no pillow,
Sounds familiar.
nothing. And the boys that's in there, I don't know the specific names. I think it was like Andre and a couple other people were like, they would give him, like, somebody would give him a pillowcase, a blanket, and that has been the essence of like what we call like the Goldey family. I mean, that gets thrown around a lot, but it is really like picking each other up and like that student experience. And it's so interesting because recently, like after the wedding and seeing all the guys again, I was revisiting the end of the documentary, the Believe documentary, where there's 2 segments. There's what Arthur says about, which I'll get to in a second, but there's what Alvaro says that really sticks out and is such a beautiful way to pay homage to just the eras of the Goldey family. And he basically says it in such a beautiful way that only he could. But he says that they didn't start that. That was the thinking that was borrowed from the generations before. They were taught that by giving back, the older students giving back to the younger ones and showing them what makes Goldey so special is like, the relationships, the friendships, and looking out for each other. And then just right after that, it's so ironic. Like, it's crazy. I guess not really ironic, but it's crazy. The next shot is Arthur saying, in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, when we're at each other's weddings and we're, like, we'll be able to pick up like we never left, and we'll always be able to say like we had something special. And literally, I just got married in October, and
yes,
in Serbia, and Arthur was there. Arthur and Manuela and Alvaro and Cam and Lorenzo and it's like and many more Goldey people. You know, Shelby and Dre and Sierra, Brandon. I mean, we could just keep going on. Joe Kissel. And,
Joe Kissel.
It's like, that was a good time. But
it was great.
But so tell me like a little bit more about the things that you've got going on here. I know that I'm not sure like what classes you're taking, but like what are some of the like maybe like in-class experiences that have made like your time here interesting or special?
I think in terms of in the classroom, Goldey has a very good setup in terms of how close you can be with your professor and get to know them like on a first name basis, but also because I mean you can know people on a first name basis and it doesn't mean anything, but here like for me I found that if I've ever asked the professor for help or for extra guidance or any like more opportunity to get some extra credit or something like that, they're always very welcoming to that. They're always very welcoming to give me feedback on what I do in the classroom to improve myself and to get better. So just to say some names: Kirk Johnson, Dr. Hofling, Dr. Brown, Dr. Mavina Brown, and Dr. Kevin Brown. There's so many. Joel Worden has been I never had him, but I've heard great things from you.
No, he's
Dr. Rivers, Kevin Hunt, always.
Yeah, and Mary Wheeling. But Joel is an interesting one because what's cool is he's a vice president now, so I'm not sure if he's teaching much anymore, but his classes really stuck with me, and just the way he was able to kind of like dig deep into these stories and just kind of see and like look at them and we did these like close reading assignments where we'd literally like look at the sentences and try to figure out like what the sentences mean, and then you're able to like just deconstruct and kind of like find meaning from the text. And so I came in as an English major here pretty late. Like I came from a junior college, and so I had a lot of catching up to do, and those professors helped a ton. But what's so interesting is like even still I have a great relationship with him. I mean, we like make those little short skits with him, and he like goes all in, and his other career could have been as an actor. We're still trying to get him in, but really like I wrote The Missing Million. It's like a 100-page script, and it's really rough and bad, and just to have that relationship, to be able to share that with him and get his feedback the same way I did when I was a student, and the same with Mary, and that's just invaluable to have those relationships with the professors. It does make a big difference. But
how did it the thing that Joel did like in the classroom, how did that kind of maybe help you or affect you in how you then would take on writing, or also with Dr. Wheeling, because she does also writing, like English writing stuff, writing classes?
So that's a twofold thing. I think I'll start with Mary, because in Mary Wheeling's class we did literary criticism, and you would be able to like view pieces of work. I would try to look at films through different lenses. Like looking at the time period the project was made, or who the writer was. She was big on like looking deep into like like stories that women wrote when women weren't allowed to write, or things like that. And so you have to be able to put on that lens to view the story. Then you can see things in the subtext that might mean something different than what is actually read there. And there's like layers to it that even I definitely don't understand. But with Joel, like his style, I think more than anything stuck with me, not necessarily like with the deconstructing the text, because that's like an ongoing thing that I don't think I'm very good at, but I think his style and approach to teaching is what has helped me with directing, film directing. Because I'm just making that connection right now, that we used to be in the classroom and we'd sit around we'd sit in a circle. There'd be like 8 to 10 of us or whatever, and we would throw around thoughts about the piece of work, and he would never like. I would say some ridiculous things. Other students would say some ridiculous things, and and you're like, well, maybe that doesn't really make any sense. But he would always find a way to help guide that that person's point into the overall, like thing we're talking about. And I felt like, he always had like an attitude of like, this is a collaboration. There's so much to uncover here. There's like, so it really opened my eyes to, number one, like how beautiful stories can be. Cause we did a lot of like international stories too, like world literature things. But yeah, just his style has stuck with me. And, but yeah, that specifically. And then it was really cool to have them all come together. Joel, Mary, and Kevin Hunt on the Veterans of the Summit book that we did, with Jeremy and the student athletes, back in like 2018, 2019. And so that was really cool because, we did like the interviews with the students, and then they were able to kind of come in and help like make sure that the written stuff came out clean and stuff. So, but yeah, so I guess this leads us to, I know one of the things that you wanted to do was Polaroid of the day, because you have 200 of them sitting right there. So.
Okay, let's pick one. Okay, so this Polaroid is I got when I went to the classes, like different classes that I was not in at all, and to try to get people that I didn't recognize from the campus. So I saw this guy. Actually, I was on my way out of Falmer. I'm on my way out. I see this guy, and I said, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry," And he kind of turned around, and he was a bit reluctant to be in. I explained, the project, but he didn't really want to be part of it. But in the end, when I had explained, the whole thing, and showed him some of the Polaroids that I had taken that day, he said, okay, all right, let's do it. And he was very kind to do it, and he was very, gracious to stay, to take the picture, and then to also write a little quote. I'm going to show it. I don't know if the camera can see it here, or if it's going to be out of focus.
I think it can.
It can? Okay. So the quote says, "Be kind." Very simple, very well written, like beautifully written by Frank. And you can see in his face, you can see, that he's a kind person. And it's a good message. Maybe it's a little bit cheesy, sure, but maybe some people will say that. But I think it's timely. I think it's important.
Yeah.
And not just timely, but it's timeless, actually, because it's always important to be kind. So I was very grateful. And we also got it outside. So I don't normally take Polaroids outside, and they look amazing outside because you get the blue sky and yeah, it was a good day as well. It was a very nice fall day. So yeah, big shout out to Frank. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. And I love the caption there, "Be kind." Yeah.
It's important.
I know some people who could use that. That was a good choice. But yeah, so this is it for this episode. I guess we got to start thinking about who we're going to have on. Let us know if there's any ideas. We got to start coming up with a list. But yeah, sounds good. Till next time.
We didn't create this. We contributed somehow, like before us there was other people here who actually created this, and when we came here they transferred all their thinking and everything to us, and right now I think we deal with the younger people, and what I expect from them is just keeping it this way.
So in 20 years, or maybe even in 5, 10, 15 years, whenever we meet at each other's weddings all over the world, we can peacefully rewind our time here and just be like, we have no regrets. We made it.
It's certain that what we have here and what the boys will have in their 4th year, it's forever. It's forever.